Hi, my name is Shelly Murder, and welcome to Not Small Talk minicast, where I'm only going to be discussing one topic briefly. And today's topic and episode is More Than Government Conspiracies, MK Delta and MKUltra. Now, I have a pretty good idea. If you're a conspiracy nut, you probably have heard these programs before, but I didn't know about them until I decided to do research for today's topic. So I'm guessing the general public out there doesn't know much about MK Delta and MKUltra either. To me, it sounds like Mortal Kombat. It reminds me of Mortal Kombat. So, I don't know, but I can tell you the only thing it has in common with Mortal Kombat is violence. Okay, so let's get started. So after the Freedom of Information Act was passed, the documents surrounding the CIA projects MK Delta and MKUltra were released. So after World War II, the CIA wanted to figure out how to use mind control or brainwashing to get information out of captives or prisoners. Basically, the CIA was really interested in mind control at the time, like really interested. They believed that with hiring mass amounts of social and behavioral scientists, psychiatrists, anthropologists, that they could figure out a way using LSD and other hallucinatory drugs, stressful situations, which means torture, and certain environmental conditions, which means torture. They figured if they could use all those different things, they could figure out how to induce prisoners and captives into states where they could be brainwashed and have their minds controlled, where you could make every decision for them and force them to make choices and do things. Now, after testing LSD and torture on prisoners and many other people, the CIA did not discover an effective way to control people's minds. I know, right? But they did discover new ways to effectively coerce people to do what they want and how to effectively interrogate people. And in fact, those techniques are still in use by the CIA today, and I would tell you what they are if I knew what they are, but I can't find them. All of my information is coming from an academic journal, and I could just search on the internet and give you conspiracy nuts ideas about MKUltra and MK Delta, but I don't want to give you ideas. I want to give you facts, and the only way I can do that is by only using academic journals. So unfortunately, we're not going to get the entire story because it is a very controversial government project, even though it happened 50 years ago. It's still controversial because of what happened within the projects. So we're not going to get all the information, but this is as much as I can give you. Okay, moving on. So in more detail, the CIA was given $25 million among other grants. This $25 million in particular came from one individual, and it was purposefully given to the CIA, quote, to study human responses to drugs and environmental conditions that could manipulate individuals into adopting behaviors against their will. $25 million was given to the CIA by one rich guy to figure out how to manipulate individuals into adopting behaviors against their will. Holy shit. That's scary. Okay. Other CIA projects like Artichoke and Bluebird have been found to have used unethical research techniques like giving unknowing, which means non-consenting, government employees and members of the public LSD, opiates, and other drugs to see if drugs could be used as an effective interrogation technique. The CIA went so far as to give their own employees and random members of the public drugs. Acid. That's what LSD is, acid. They put them into hallucinations to see if when they were in those hallucinatory states, they could be manipulated to give them information. That was the goal. Put prisoners the future goal, put prisoners, terrorists, whatever, probably Russians, commies at the time, into a hallucinatory state to get information out of them. All of these programs obviously were highly secret. Even though they were abandoned in 1963, the documents surrounding them were not released until the mid-70s, despite serious ethical and human rights violations to the research subjects, if you could call them that. I wouldn't call them research subjects, because they didn't know they were being researched on. They didn't know. You can't call them a research subject if they did not consent, and they can't consent if they didn't know. Even still, the fact that the documents weren't released until the 70s, even though the project had been over for almost 10 years at that point, that says something to me. Studies like these are why we have the Belmont Report, which, if you don't know what that is, it outlines the protection requirements for research participants, which are, the protection requirements are respect for persons, beneficence, and justice. In the case of MKUltra and MKDelta, there was no respect for persons because many of the subjects did not know they were being tested on and therefore could not consent. There also was no beneficence because the participants were only being harmed from the study by being forced to take drugs and be tortured. They were not receiving anything beneficial by being in the study. Thirdly, the participants received no justice because the US government saw all of the rewards of the study, which was apparently better ways to interrogate people, while the participants came out with brain damage. Yes, these studies were a long time ago, but not many people know about them, which is a serious problem. We cannot let any government, let alone ours, test on non-consenting people. And even if they are consenting, giving them LSD without telling them the full effects of taking LSD and other opiates and stuff, it's just not right. And the only way to prevent this from happening again is to be informed, understand where we have come from and how we've gotten to be where we are today, prevent history from repeating itself. All right, I'm Shelly Murder. Thank you for staying with me through this mini cast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like and a subscribe, and follow me on Twitter at Not Small Talk Podcast. All right, have a great day.